everyone, welcome back. Hope you had a fantastic week. Apologies I haven't been able to put out a video last week, but yeah, got pretty busy, but yeah, let's get into it. So I guess for this week's topic, one thing that's come to my mind recently is kind of the zooming out process. Let's take a look at the process of zooming out and becoming present, because this also helps you get into that present moment, which is very beneficial for me in stepping back and breathing and just enjoying life a lot more than you may have been doing so far. If it's a bit more stressful, it gets you to breathe, and when you breathe a bit more, a lot of the emotions start to not be as intense, not take so much focus, and when you regain your focus from that reactionary response, this is where you can really make some strides forward into feeling a lot better with what's happening if it's a very stressful time for you. And this is where a lot of my growth has come from. I guess you say the growth of where I found I was directing my focus and holding it so intensely and being so emotionally involved in the outcome of one experience. It really defined how I felt. Even though if I found that I zoomed out of that experience and gone, no, this is just one step that I'm focusing on, which is causing me to feel emotionally held back or just upset with the outcome that's not working out the way I planned it to be. Because I find when you're very rigid on the way the outcome of an experience, it can really say that, well, to yourself, you go, I'm not experiencing the outcome I thought it would be. And when I'm not experiencing the outcome I thought it would be, that means I'm lacking or not worthy or haven't achieved what I set out to be. When really, it's, from what I've noticed personally, it's just showing the event, the experience is just showing you something where you're holding on to the outcome too rigidly. And when you do that, you create an emotional lacking of the experience that you're wanting, and in that lacking experience you almost create this reactionary response that basically shuts down your frontal cortex. You can't actually think straight during the process of what you're trying to achieve, whether or not it's work or having a conversation with someone. When you're worrying about the outcome of what you wanted to happen, your fight or flight kicks in, your stress response, your drug-induced responses stop you from being able to function at 100%, to communicate effectively, to pull in that creative idea that you need to bring together to sort of make that experience or that event. But the point I'm trying to get at is you really shut down your ability to say on the fly, think creatively, and even if it's communication within it, even if it's in expressing yourself, these stressful reactionary responses that you will trigger within yourself because you're wanting a certain outcome during that process stops you from accessing the creative potential of achieving that, because your body has come from this fight or flight reactionary responses, and we're growing so much every day in recognizing that that's happening. We are starting to become aware of the fact that we don't need to be scared and stressed of things to actually be efficient. Most of the time, being under stress or putting yourself under stress is actually very very not beneficial for your health. Because it takes all your resources and puts it into your muscles. Literally, all your biological responses will suck all the resources away from the thing you really need at that moment, which is your mind, to cognize a creative response or outcome to what you're experiencing. And this is pretty broad. You can use this on anything. But the trick is trying to put your body into a creative flow state, as you might call it. So when I find that I interact in this way with other people and I get in this creative flow state, it makes talking a lot easier, it makes communication so much easier, it makes those creative ideas flow in, which I've been practicing with, which is how to switch your mind, your mindset, your creative ability on, basically. How do I get in the groove? How do I get in the flow with what's happening in my life? Rather than being in this sort of rigid, it must be this way, anxiety, fear, which is like pushing against a brick wall. Unless you have a lot of willpower to just hammer yourself into that brick wall till it falls over, it's going to be so much more painful to actually achieve what you really want, to feel happy about the outcome. And most people that bang their head on this wall of trying to get what they want done through other people, it creates a lot of resistance. Other people get put off by it because they're so demanding, or whatever the outcome may be. It's definitely not going with the flow per se. So I'm finding this flow state, this zoom out, is a really good way of appreciating the effort and all the struggle that you've been through to know that you are doing really well. So I'll just touch on that point. So how do you get into this flow state? How do you get into this kind of becoming aware of what's happening and just taking it down a notch, so you're not jumping into this anxiety state or this fear state of what is happening or could happen. So what you do is basically just take a breath. Breathe it in. Breathe in whatever's happening, and just go, okay, I'm zooming out. Literally, kind of, if you can visualize within your mind how that would be, how that would work for you, it's like you're kind of zooming out of what your experience. You say, you're sitting in work, you're sitting having a conversation. Depends on how you can do this. Maybe you need to go to the toilet, step away from the experience at the moment to catch a breath. And so basically you're taking a breath, you're breathing in some air, and while you're doing that, you're sort of visualizing the experience, the event, and you're just observing what's happening. Just observe yourself, observe what you're doing and what you're saying, and just become aware of the experience of what's happening around you. Like, the trick is not to judge what's happening. You got to sit in a non-judgmental space. It's like detaching yourself from what you expect should happen or want to happen, and just observe what is happening and where things are going. And what I've found during this process of observing and zooming out of the experience that you're having, you're less focused on the outcome. You're sort of becoming more aware of this observational space that you have within you. But this breathing, this zoom out kind of observational state, I find that it's actually a lot of a localized, like bringing your awareness to part of your body can really help sit in a non-judgmental frame of mind, a mindset of, no, this isn't really what's happening. I'm just anxious about what I think should happen or what I want to happen. So when you sort of go into the mind and observe your experiences, the reactions that people are having around you, and just observe it. Just look at what's happening. You don't need to judge it. You're already doing that, so you don't need to continue doing that while you're in this observational state. But when you go into the mind and you sort of sit in a space of observation, this, from what my experience is, this feeling state inside starts to drift or shift. If you can hold your observational state, which is mainly just about, I find it's definitely a place that you can sit. It's actually a place in your head. Like if you become aware of the internal space within your body, you can not only just focus on the body, but then your mind gets to separate from the experience. And when you separate from the experience long enough, the emotional state starts to shift. It's like it's not as attached to, you're not as attached to the outcome. And so you get a breather from the fear, or you get a breather from the experience emotionally that you're having. And this is really a key way of separating yourself from the experience, so you can actually switch your body from this state of anxiety or fear or separation that you're having from what you want to happen. And then in doing so, if you sit long enough, you can actually swing this gauge of emotion from let's say an emotional state you're not enjoying that isn't helping you achieve what you want to achieve. For me, that was definitely an experience of when I realized every time I'd shift into this anxiety, fear state, I would literally shut down. I couldn't function properly. I'd be sitting at work or having a conversation and nothing was coming to me. I couldn't actually interact properly in my environment or with other people because my brain would literally just go, it's just like nothing's happening right now. So you literally lose a whole bunch of IQ points when you switch into this anxiety stress state. But yeah, zooming out, it's a really interesting way that I've found for myself, and I'm hoping it can be useful for other people to just observe the feelings, which is the key point. Observe that you're actually feeling something, and rather than just sort of being in fear. So yeah, this is really amazing thing that I found that I'm hoping can be helpful to other people. If you would like to know more, if there's any questions you have that I maybe haven't answered or haven't been clear on describing it to you, definitely leave me a comment in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. I'll try and reply and see if I can help out with anything that I haven't described or explained properly. Because there's so much more to this. This is just a brief overall description of what I've been trying to express and find that can help other people. And I know for me, it definitely has benefited my life dramatically. And yeah, I really like to share that with you guys. So yeah, all right. I think that's all for this week, and I hope you have a fantastic week, and we'll talk to you next time, wherever you are. Thank you. Bye.